Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. With the holiday season just around the corner, we're all getting ready for twinkling lights, festive songs, and of course, a visit from the man in the red suit. But have you ever stopped to wonder where the story of Santa Claus actually comes from? How did we get from a historical saint to the jolly, reindeer-driving, gift-giving icon we know and love today? Well, grab a cup of hot cocoa, get comfy, because today we're unwrapping the incredible history of Santa Claus. Our story begins not at the North Pole, but in a place called Patara, in modern-day Turkey, way back in the 3rd century. This is where a man named Nicholas was born. Nicholas was a devout Christian who became a bishop in the nearby city of Myra. He was known for his incredible kindness and generosity, especially towards children and the poor. One of the most famous stories about St. Nicholas involves 3 poor sisters. Their father couldn't afford a dowry for them, which in those times meant they likely wouldn't be able to marry and could face a very difficult life. Nicholas, wanting to help anonymously, supposedly crept by their house at night and tossed 3 bags of gold through an open window, or some versions say down the chimney. The gold landed in stockings or shoes that were left by the fire to dry. Sound familiar? This act of secret gift-giving became his trademark. After his death on December 6th, Nicholas was recognized as a saint, and the anniversary of his death became a day of celebration and gift-giving in his honor across Europe. In many countries, children would leave out their shoes or stockings, hoping that St. Nicholas would visit and fill them with small treats and gifts. So, how did this Turkish bishop transform into the Santa we picture today? Well, it was a long and fascinating journey. As the legend of St. Nicholas spread, different cultures added their own unique twists. In the Netherlands, he was known as Sinterklaas. Dutch traditions depicted him as a tall, stately bishop with a long white beard, wearing red robes and carrying a staff. He would arrive by steamboat from Spain, not the North Pole, and ride a white horse through the streets, delivering gifts to good children. Sinterklaas was often accompanied by a helper, which varied over time, who would help him distribute the presents. When Dutch immigrants settled in America in the 17th and 18th centuries, they brought their Sinterklaas traditions with them. Over time, the name Sinterklaas was anglicized, slowly morphing into Santa Claus, but the image was still very much in flux. For a while, Santa was depicted in all sorts of ways, sometimes as a tall, thin man, other times as a roguish elf. He wore robes of various colors, including blue, green, and tan. The consistent elements were his generosity and his connection to Christmas gift-giving. The 19th century was a real turning point for our modern Santa. A lot of the credit goes to a few key American writers and artists. In 1809, author Washington Irving, famous for The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, wrote a satirical book called A History of New York. In it, he fondly described a pipe-smoking Nicholas flying over the rooftops in a wagon, delivering presents to children. This was one of the first times Santa was depicted as airborne. Then, in 1823, came a game-changer. A poem, originally titled A Visit from St. Nicholas, was published anonymously. You probably know it as "'Twas the Night Before Christmas." It was later attributed to a professor named Clement Clark Moore. This poem single-handedly shaped our modern image of Santa. It described him as a jolly old elf, with a round belly that shook when he laughed, like a bowl full of jelly. Moore's poem also gave Santa his 8 tiny reindeer, calling them by name for the very first time: Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Vixen, Comet, Cupid, Donder, and Blitzen. It established the magical Christmas Eve journey, the sleigh, and the chimney entrance. Suddenly, Santa wasn't just a generous saint. He was a magical, joyful figure. With this new, vivid description, artists had a blueprint to work from. One of the most influential was a political cartoonist named Thomas Nast. Starting in the 1860s, Nast drew a series of illustrations for Harper's Weekly magazine. Drawing inspiration from Moore's poem, Nast was the one who consistently dressed Santa in a bright red suit trimmed with white fur. He gave Santa his workshop at the North Pole, an army of elves to help make toys, and the famous naughty and nice list. For nearly 30 years, Nast's annual Christmas drawings solidified the image of Santa Claus in the American public's mind. So now we have the jolly personality, the red suit, the reindeer, and the North Pole workshop. The final major piece of the puzzle was added in the 1930s by a very famous beverage company. In 1931, Coca-Cola commissioned artist Haddon Sundblom to create a series of magazine ads featuring Santa Claus. Sundblom's paintings, which ran for over 30 years, portrayed a warm, friendly, and incredibly human Santa. He was plump, rosy-cheeked, and always had a twinkle in his eye. These images became some of the most widely recognized depictions of Santa in the world. While Coca-Cola didn't invent the red suit, their massive advertising campaigns cemented the specific image of Santa as the definitive one for generations to come. And what about the most famous reindeer of all? Rudolph, the Red-Nosed Reindeer, wasn't part of the original crew. He was created in 1939 by Robert L. May, who worked for the Montgomery Ward department store. The store wanted a new Christmas storybook to give away to shoppers, and May came up with the tale of a misfit reindeer whose unique glowing nose saves Christmas. The story was a massive hit. A decade later, May's brother-in-law, Johnny Marks, turned the story into a song. Gene Autry recorded it, and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer became one of the best-selling Christmas songs of all time, officially adding a 9th reindeer to Santa's team. So there you have it. The story of Santa Claus is a beautiful blend of history, folklore, poetry, art, and even marketing. It started with a kind-hearted bishop in ancient Turkey, was shaped by Dutch traditions, reimagined by American writers and artists, and polished by iconic advertising. From Saint Nicholas to Sinterklaas to the Santa Claus we know today, the character has evolved dramatically. But through it all, the core spirit has remained the same, a symbol of generosity, kindness, and the magic of giving. It's a powerful reminder that a single act of kindness, like Saint Nicholas tossing gold through a window, can echo through centuries and inspire a tradition that brings joy to millions of people around the world. Thanks so much for watching and taking this journey through history with me. What's your favorite part of the Santa Claus story? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more festive content. Happy holidays, and I'll see you in the next one.